Welcome, friends, to the monthly Satsang. I hope you are able to see me. Finally, I think I was able to figure out what was wrong with the software that we were using. As you can see in the background, it is not my normal place, and Ishaji's picture is missing from the background. This is not deliberate. Actually, I'm not in my home. I'm away from home for a couple of weeks, and so I had to travel because of work purposes, and I could not bring Ishaji's picture with me. So I'm sorry that he is not in his picture next to me, but be assured he is with all of us. Actually, let me start the satsang with a beautiful story that I found out recently.
Welcome, friends.
Apologies, I think I do not know whether this is working properly, so I'm hoping that it is working. So I just need to confirm. Okay. All right. So let me start the satsang with a beautiful story that was relayed to me by one of the satsangis. If you recall, in one of my first satsangs, I had recounted the story of how Ishaji was blessed by Great Master to accomplish so many things. He used to say that he has done a lot of things in the past, and it was all because of Great Master's blessing, and how he made him do all those things to make him capable. Like he had to make papads. This is a common saying in India that if you papad belo, that means you go through many tough circumstances. So Great Master had made him go through all of these to give him an education and learn various things. So one of the stories that I shared was, which Ishaji personally shared with my family, and in which he said that actually he was very curious as to what was the message that attracted us most, and we narrated our version of, okay, this is what we liked in your message, and this is when we first saw you, and what appealed to us most. And he was very enthusiastically listening to all those details. And then he said that everything is because of Great Master. He, of course, attributed all the results to Great Master. And he said that he went into IAS exam, Indian Administrative Services exam, which is one of the toughest exams in India. Probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people take it every year, and only few thousands pass that exam, which is a very hyper competitive exam. So Ishaji applied for that exam. First time he failed. He could not be among the first few thousand people. So he tried next time, and again he failed. And then he realized that probably this is not my cup of tea, and he let it go. When Great Master found out that Ishaji had taken that exam a couple of times, and he did not want to take it next time, third time, he told him, why don't you go try it once more? And upon encouragement of Great Master, Ishaji went and gave that exam, and nothing had changed. And he gave that exam. When the exam results came out, he came third in the whole examination. And that was, of course, Ishaji attributed the result of that to Great Master. As a similar story, upon me narrating this, happened to one of the satsangis, which he conveyed to me through his email. And he told me that he was taking a PMP exam. I think it's short for Project Management Professionals exam. And this person was not very conversant in computer technologies. And PMP is mostly about, I think, agile technologies and computer related topics. And he took that exam. He failed. He took it second time, and he had failed. And that's when he heard me narrating this story of how Ishaji was given encouragement by Great Master, and something triggered in him, and he decided to take that exam upon my recounting this story. And if you can imagine, he scored the highest mark in that PMP exam till date. And so he believed that great master and our beloved master Ishaji had a role to play. It's just that it got conveyed through me somehow. So I firmly believe that Ishaji, who was a PLM, Perfect Living Master, is always with us. And sometimes we, because of our mind, we do not always feel the connection with him. We don't always miss him. And so we do not have enough gut reaction to find his presence in us. But you can sense him through coincidences that you can find in your day-to-day life if you are in tune with yourself. And your master is nothing but a reflection of yourself, who happened to be outside, because that's the arrangement we made when we decided to take this journey. And I must congratulate all of you who have been in association with Ishaji and other masters, other Perfect Living Masters, because this is the way we go back to our home. And so I've been seeing these coincidences of late quite a lot. As I recounted in one of the satsangs, that myself and one of the satsangis were together, and we were driving around, and we saw a truck that had a license plate called Master PM. And suddenly, I do not know why my focus went there, because there were so many other things to look at, and we were in Las Vegas. And so, of course, there were too many distractions around. And while driving, I happened to look at that, and for maybe brief few seconds, and this truck just sped by and took a turn, and we could not see any more of that. And I showed to this Satsanghi who was sitting next to me while we were driving. And so we were conjecturing what kind of license plate is that. So maybe it is somewhat kung fu related. Master is when you are taking karate or other lessons, all your teachers are called as master. So we thought maybe there is somebody of that personality is probably driving the truck. And then we realized that, okay, it said Master PM. I thought, okay, maybe it should have been a Master PLM. That's a sign to us. Both of us sitting next to each other, seeing that coincidence, that was amazing. So that was a validation of Master sort of being around us and forcing us to notice that they are in our company. And satsang is nothing but company of the truth, where we remember the messages that our masters have given for us. There were so many other coincidences to talk about. There was another incident where I was renting a car, and for some reason, so as I was taking the car, there's of course experience from United States, so people who are watching in India may not be able to quite relate, but I'll throw enough details so that you can follow. And as I was taking the car out of the premises of rental car company, I saw the attendant. He asked me to basically show me my papers, and he wanted to take a look at the condition of the car. And he somehow did not have the odometer reading, so that is the number of mileage on the car. And so he asked me if I could read the odometer reading back to him. So I looked at that, and I clearly remember that it had 11/26 in that, and that happened to be Ishaji's birthday. And I thought, wow, how nice. It was so nice for me to remember him at that point because of that strange coincidence. And I remember one of the satsangis forwarding me this picture of Ishaji winning a lottery, which had 11/26, and he's holding that award in front of him, and somebody else is taking his picture, and that picture was shared with us. So these kinds of coincidences always happen And when you are stuck into some difficulty and Master is looking after you, you'll see that there are enough signs for you to move forward. He gives you enough hint. Similarly, I found this coincidence with me recently as I was troubled by some of my financial difficulties, and I was driving with my family, and my thought was into figuring out what should I do with my financial condition, how I can recover it. And then I see a truck going past, and that had in the back of the truck there was in bold letters it said, "Do not worry." I thought, wow, that's a beautiful sign from Master. Master at that time was alive, but he was definitely looking after us. And another incident I found recently, just few weeks back actually, and I was just debating about some of the issues going on in my personal life and business life, or work life, and I had to make some decision about the choice of colors that I should pick. And I had few choices in mind. There were other people who had different choices in mind, and so I was just debating. I had just started thinking about that issue, and I was driving, and from the other side I see two trucks come by one after the other, and they had the exact color that I was in debate about. So it gave me a clear sign that the choice that I should be going with and what choice Ishaji had approved of. It may be true, it may not be true, but for me to remember that this is what Ishaji wants, for me to associate that this is what he wants is a big deal. So this is the time satsangs are organized every month so that we can remember what messages Ishaji, our Master who was close to us, who spent so much time here giving his message, that we should remember those messages and follow through on them. As you know, Ishaji was here because the axis of spirituality was shifting from east to west. Great Master, his Master, Huzur Maharaj Baba Sawan Singh Ji, had predicted that axis of spirituality is going to shift to the west in a big way. Because for a long time, as Ishaji had talked about, that the spiritual growth was on the east for the longest time. And if Earth is to be taken as a personality, it seemed like east was the face of it, and where all the spiritual development was going on. And the west, being on the other side, seemed like a back of it, where a lot of work was although being done in terms of material growth, non-spiritual growth. However, there was very few spiritual development. And of course, at this time, when Great Master predicted that the axis of spirituality is going to shift to west, he was talking to one of the early disciples from USA who had come to Dera Byas. His name was Julian Johnson, and Ishaji had overheard a conversation between Ishaji's master, Great Master Sawan Singh Ji, and Julian Johnson, wherein Ishaji's master was telling Julian Johnson that this shift is going to happen, and it's going to happen in a big way, because there are a lot of satsangis in Western country, especially in USA, that are now ready. Although there have been a lot of physical progress, scientific progress, they have all means of sustaining themselves. If you look around, most people have cars, means of transportation. Most people have house. They have comfortable living. Whereas in East, the life is, in terms of physical living, is still challenging for even normal things like getting water, day-to-day sustenance has been challenging, and because of population and so many other reasons. Whereas West is in a much better situation in terms of physical comfort. So, but even after so much growth in science and technology, medical affairs, infrastructure, somehow people find there is a lack of that mental satisfaction. And it seems like because of the growth of science and technology, we are somehow disconnected with ourselves we do not find so much mental peace within ourselves. And we are constantly waging wars with different countries. And we have built so many ammunitions. And now just to feed the ammunition, just we have to continue with the wars. And so these kind of problems are happening in the West. And West was trying to find that mental balance with itself. And so it was seeking and it was trying to ask the pertinent questions. And that's why West was becoming ready. And when Ishaji heard that, and of course he decided to come over here, what he said was he wanted to take a ringside seat. But I believe the truth is a little different, that he was here to make the changes that Great Master had predicted. And he was quite instrumental in that. He was one of the few ones who were asked, I believe, by his master, Huzur Maharaj Baba Sawan Singh Ji, to be here. And not only him, there were so many Satsangis who were associated with Great Master in Dera Byas. They have come here. Ishaji used to recount stories where he said that he had to take arduous journey to be in US. He used to be called alien, and even though he is a human being, he used to be called alien because normally people who are immigrating to United States, they are referred to as alien. And so he used to joke around and he would say that I had so much difficulty coming here, and look at other people, they just skipped the line for immigration and they just took a birth, they took rebirth and came here. So when he was here, when he met those people, he of course could recognize them. Although he kept it a little mysterious, that it felt like to him that they had known each other from the past. Through examples, he recounted the stories of a couple of people who went back to Dera Byas and his family, and how his family was able to confirm the souls that took rebirth in United States. So Ishaji came here to give the same message of the saints to the people who were ready, the chelas who were ready. And he had to come here because as all the saints, compassionate saints do, that they take a pity at our situation, our seeking. They understand what our souls want, what our heart seeks, and they show compassion, and then they send one of theirs to take care of our situation. And if we are in a company of those masters who are perfect living masters, our job is pretty much done. Although they give us a lot of teachings as to how to take care of our mind, how to satisfy our mind, Ishaji used to give long lectures, 2.5, 3 hours. And he would spend a lot of time in early days just going from place to place, organizing different kind of meetings where people would be fed free of charge. And this was a unique event where somebody is actually feeding you and also giving you a lecture on subject that you have never heard of. So Ishaji, throughout his life, he did that. Although he could have led a beautiful life back in India, but on maybe his choosing or Great Master's instruction, he did this seva for his master, where he left a very cushy job. He was part of the top brass in Indian administrative service. He held very high positions, and he decided to come here. And I think when you start your life all over in any place, you'll have to go through an arduous journey. So he lived through all that, and he had a beautiful life. He gave so many wonderful memories to everyone. So all the masters, not only just Ishaji, if you look in the history, all the masters have been examples of that light that has been shared with us through Creator. The Creator has blessed us because of our seeking, that one of their sons come in the midst of us and try to show us what is the right path, how we can go back to our true home. And Ishaji gave almost all his life in USA doing that. Although he had other things just for sustaining. But all the masters do the same thing. They also sustain in their own life. If you look at masters like Kabir, who was a weaver, and although he could have gotten so much more if he wanted to take advantage of his situation, and Ravidas, Master Ravidas, who was a cobbler, and Master Ishaji recorded so many stories where he could have had everything from the kings. King Pipa had come to him for asking some Charnamrit, and he had requested to him several times for him to come to palace and stay with him. And actually there is a story of Mirabai, where Mirabai was a disciple of Ravidas, and Ravidas of course was a cobbler, and Mirabai was a princess, and people around her started sort of making fun that you are a rich woman, and look at your master, he's a cobbler, he is living in such a wretched poverty. How can this happen? How can you not have kindness on your master? On hearing this, Mirabai decided to go visit his master, and she cooked up a plan of how to ask his master to give up his sort of work as a cobbler of mending shoes, and come back either to the palace, come to the palace, or make his situation better. So she got some diamonds, I believe, from her palace, and then went to visit her master. And when she met her master Ravidas, she bowed to him, and said, "Master, people are saying these and these things about you and me, that I have so much riches, but I do not want to share with you, and I cannot see this. And would you please take these diamonds with you, and please sell them and make your condition better? I cannot see you in these circumstances." Ravidas said, I don't need these diamonds. I have everything that I need, and I know what I am doing, and I have to pay off my karma as well. And so he was happy at mending his shoes. So people, and despite many requests of Mirabai, Ravidas did not heed her request. And finally she told him that she is going to keep these diamonds in her roof, on top of the hashed roof, and then hopefully he will in time look at that and will be able to sell it and make his livelihood a little more comfortable. And months pass, and finally Mirabai decided to make another visit. So when she visited, she was shocked that the diamond was still on the roof where she had placed it. So she asked Ravidas, what happened? Why did not he sell those diamonds? And he said, what use do these diamonds have for me? I already have everything that I need in my life. I have way more wealth than you can imagine. And on hearing this, Mirabai, touched his feet and cried. So masters, they live their own life the way it has been given by the Creator. They engage in normal mundane duties. They do shah, shave and shower. They have jobs. They take care of their personal relationships. They engage in everything, yet their attention is somewhere else. And they pass on those messages of how to seek the higher truth by associating with us, becoming our friend, and passing those messages. And they have, for a long time, all these masters have been telling us what those ultimate truths are. The ultimate truth is that we are a part of consciousness. We are like a drop in the ocean. They encourage us to go inside and know ourselves. They say, if thine eye be single, then your whole body shall be full of light. Saint John, he said that he lived daily. He was one of the apostles of Christ. And they say that God is nothing but love and bliss. And they tell us how to go back and find those truths for those who are inclined in finding out the truth. There's a story of Guru Nanak, who was the first Guru of Sikhs. He went to Mecca, and one of the Qazi there, Qazi Ruknuddin, he asked Guru Nanak as to what is the palace, how does the palace of Ultimate Creator look like? How many minars does it have? How many towers does it have? How many doors it has? How many turrets it has? And so Guru Nanak smiled and said, well, it has 12 towers, and these towers are hand, forearm, upper arm. So you have 2 hands and 2 legs. So there are 12 of them. And there are 9 doors. And these doors are 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nose, 1 mouth, and 2 lower apertures. And 52 turrets. And these are 32 teeth and 20 nails in our hands and feet. And he said that, but beyond all these, beyond the palace, beyond the palace where the God himself exists, there is far away, that's where God resides, the ultimate creator resides, and there is continuous everlasting bliss that is being poured. And these masters have tried to tell us in various ways, or tried to show where we should turn. They have said that truth cannot be found outside. You have to go inside yourself and find that ultimate truth. And one of their message is in terms of explaining how this construction, how this creation happened, and how we can go back. To satisfy our mind, they have explained to us how this whole creation that we see around us manifested. They have told us that we are part of consciousness. Through examples, they tell us that we are just this drop in the ocean. And in fact, Ishaji said that he did not believe that was true, or he did not even want to participate in that kind of thinking, that we are a drop and we have to go back and merge into the ocean. What he said through his lectures is that we are the ocean in the form of a drop. It's just we, as if for experience, we shrunk our awareness, consciousness. He used to term creation or the creator as the total awareness, total consciousness, totality of consciousness. And our consciousness, we are a part of that totality of consciousness, and we are the sort of essence of that. We have every quality that totality of the consciousness has. So we have this awareness around us, awareness of everything that is going around us at this moment. But there is sort of consciousness or awareness that is latent or much beyond us, say in the past or future, that is beyond our immediate awareness. But we can realize that. We can, through the teachings of masters, we can realize that what we believe is not really true, which is we identify most of the time with our individual body, and we believe that we are this tiny human being that is trying to, through space and time, trying to work out everything, and we are just suffering because of some creator decided to create us and left us here. Of course, we why would anybody in right mind come to this place and suffer the consequence? It is not necessary that everybody is suffering the consequence. In fact, what Master Ishaji used to say is that if you are happy, if your life is perfect, you are enjoying what mind has created, what a creator has given to you, why would you even want to turn your back from that? If you're enjoying the riches, let's say you are very wealthy, you have lots of cars, a lot of houses, you're enjoying the riches, then you keep enjoying. But the moment you feel that things are not right, and a lot of people used to tell Ishaji that their life is perfectly okay. Why should they hear him? And Ishaji would tell them that, no, you should go about your normal uh, life because you are happy. You don't need to listen to my lecture. And then weeks would pass and their lives would be turned upside down. And they would come back to Ishaji saying that, okay, their life has been ruined. His wife left him or something happened, and somehow they detest the life that they're living. So if you are in that situation where you feel that if somebody is perceptive enough, they could feel that there is so much ups and down, there is so much diversity. Of course, this whole thing has been created with positive and negative duality. So you will find all ups, you'll find all downs, mix of that. And in various circumstances, there are so many poor people, so many rich people. There is war going on. There is desert. There are places where there haven't been rain for decades. There are places where there is flooding going on. There's so much ups and down, and so anybody who is looking at sort of everything that is going on in the world would inevitably find that this is not right. And but people who are in a good situation because they came here to enjoy. Ishaji used to say that we are in a sort of theme park, and this creation is not because of suffering. We did not come here to suffer. We are all consciousness, and as a part of consciousness, we can create our experience. And we decided to have a good ride, and we came to a theme park like Disney theme park, and initially it was all good because we wanted to have this wonderful experience. And suddenly we developed these attachments whereby we like certain things, we dislike certain things. If you don't like certain things, it gives you displeasure, and it hurts you, and you are attached to all these beautiful things that you see around yourself. So mind has created sort of its own, through the senses, has created this world, and it is trying to enjoy this world that it has created for itself, for the enjoyment. But if the enjoyments are not working for you, certainly, these are the messages that saints have tried to convey to us as to how to find ourselves, how to find out that in truth we are not this body that we strongly believe we are. It is very hard to convince a mother that her son is an illusion, right? If we say that this creation is just an illusion, we are just consciousness and we are creating these things around us. But you cannot convince a father or a mother whose child is in distress that this is just an illusion. No, this is a reality. This is a reality which is so real that we are not willing to believe anything other than what we see and perceive. And that is right. We should not. Just because somebody is saying that this is all created by consciousness, why believe that? So masters have given us, through their teaching, a ways how to go back. They have, through argument, also tried to show to us that what we things that we do not pay attention to, if we were to recognize that this could be possible, then it might lead you back to the ultimate truth. And they have shown through some of the narration of stories, examples. And so one of the analogy that is given is, let's say you are sleeping, and in your sleep you see a dream, and you are flying around in your dream. You see stars, you see sky. Where are you in that case? Is your body flying in the sky while you are dreaming? Of course not, because you are probably lying in your bed. But you are experiencing yourself flying through the sky. You're seeing stars, you're seeing other planets maybe, whatever you experience during your dream, what would you call that? Aren't you perceiving those? Yes, you would have to accept that you are seeing those, you are experiencing those, and to say that okay, these things are not real, that may be debatable, but you cannot discount the experience that you're having. So Ishaji used to give an example where if you take a drink from the cup in your dream, is the cup real? No, the cup is not real, and you know that only after waking up from your dream. When you're taking a sip, you know that you are taking a sip. Your maybe thirst is being quenched in your dream. Only after waking up, you will say that, okay, the cup was not real, the water in the cup was not real, but the fact that you had an experience that you still remember with you, those you cannot say that those were not real. So a lot of masters have said that we are, even at this stage, we are dreaming. And how can we say we are dreaming? Only after waking up we'll find, and we'll be able to tell that whether we are dreaming or not. Because when we wake up from the dream, we would know that what happened, what experience you had in the past, that was not real. And you would also know, because you would find yourself in the same place. Like when you wake up from the dream, you realize that you were dreaming only because you find yourself in the bed and remember the moment that you slept in the bed at this time. So because of that recall, when the dream finishes and you recall in an upper higher plane that you were actually sleeping and you had a dream. So, and masters have given us a methodical process in which to find out who we truly are. So they teach us meditation, way of meditating, in which we can forget our body, what we believe right now in this waking up moment, that this is me, this is Jagannath, this is you as a certain being who has certain role in the society. You are a mother or a father, you are employed as a particular person, whatever job you do, you maintain this identity very strongly. And because of the nature of creation in this physical world, we can touch, we can hear things, and we can judge what the reality is based on our sense perceptions. We can validate one sense perception against the other by let's say seeing, touching, tasting, and those things. And if I were to say, if I didn't know whether this is a cell phone or not, and so I can touch it, and of course I'm seeing it, I'm touching it, I can also knock on the phone, and so through these three senses I sort of make sure that okay, what I'm seeing or what I'm experiencing is real. So this is just validating one sense perception against the other sense perception, and making in our mind that this is the reality. And masters have shown us that through meditation we can go back and find out what is the reality. And they have said that if in meditation, if somehow we can forget who we are, then automatically, because we are conscious, we will know if we are not the body, because the whole purpose of meditation is to forget about your body in the first stage, right? So if you are able to accomplish that, if you forget about your body, if you forget about your identity for the duration of meditation, you will know that you are still there, and whatever you are, that will become evident, maybe because through a recall of your memory. Because when you go to sleep, you do not remember who you are. You would be probably taking a dream body and flying around and discovering yourself. So is that same, is dreaming same as meditation, where you actually forget your body and fly around? So is it not same as going into higher planes and discovering yourself is that can that be equated to meditation? And what Masters Ishaji has told us that no, it cannot be equated as meditation in the normal sense of meditating, where you understand more about yourself, and that is not so during the meditation, during dreaming, because that's your awareness actually recedes. You are not that much aware about yourself when you are dreaming, whereas in meditation, if the meditation is going in the right way, you are being more and more aware of yourself, and you are going into higher consciousness. So you understand a little more about truly who you are. And so the method that Ishaji used to tell us was that go into a meditation. Imagine that you are sitting in the middle of your head. So you have to start from a place of imagination, because some of the powers that we as a human being have been endowed is power of focusing our attention. And by focusing our attention, we can know more about anything that we are focusing our attention on. So let's say you are watching me on your TV or any gadget, then your attention is completely focused on the picture that you're watching, and you do not know what else is happening in the room, or the chair you are sitting on, or things there may be noise coming from outside, but you may not be aware of that. It is because you are focusing on something. So that is one of the powers that we have been given as a conscious beings. And as a result of that, we are able to take attention or knowledge away from something else. So by focusing attention, we are also withdrawing attention from other things. And compared to other teachings, what I learned was that process of taking away attention, defocusing, withdrawing attention is very important, because in normal day-to-day life, you know who you are, you can feel your body, you can feel aches in your body. When you're walking, you know the process of walking, and you are constantly aware of yourself, and you are constantly reminded of anything that happens in your body. Even a single prick punctures your skin, you know immediately that it's your body you are hurting. So it's very hard to go away from this notion that you are anybody else other than this body. So when you are, the process that Ishaji talked about was imagine, if you can imagine yourself to be somewhere else that is not in this physical body, but you're sitting within this body, but in your head. Imagine that it's a huge building, huge head, and you are sitting in the middle of it. And right between these two eyes where they meet, if you were to join a line between two ears, both the ears, and the eyes piercing going back, where it meets this line through the ears, that's the place we would be sitting. And if you can imagine yourself being there, so what happens is, because your attention is focused on just being there, you are slowly getting disconnected from what is in and around you, like the room you are in or the place you are sitting yourself in. And so slowly, gradually, your senses start withdrawing from your parts of the body, right? And that is the trick that is called dying while living. As Saint Paul used to say, I die daily. That there is a process in which you can simulate death, because a lot of people who have had near-death experiences have recounted or they understood or they believed completely that they are not this physical body. And so saints have recognized that those are big clues, and these are available to us. And they have simulated sort of death in meditation, where you lose complete awareness of what is going on around you. And that can be facilitated by use of imagination, a very powerful gift given to us. And so imagine yourself being in a chamber that is shaped like head, and you are sitting right in the middle, and you're just focusing yourself being there and just watching what else is going around you. So as you pay more and more attention to just being in the center, it automatically starts withdrawing your awareness from the rest of the body. And as awareness goes up, you'll realize that that your attachments to attachment of your mind to everything else, that becomes very focused, or you realize how much the true test of how much you're progressing in your meditation would be how much your mind is chattering, how much it is getting distracted. If you have, in your normal life, if you have too many attachments going on, it will be revealed to you when you are trying to meditate. Either you will fall off to sleep, or if you are awake, your mind would be constantly discussing all the issues that have been going on in your normal life, and will make it really hard to meditate and be at the center. And when you are at the center, and if you are able to watch your thoughts, you would realize that you yourself are watching the mind. That whatever is, if you're for a moment, if you decide within yourself that you're not going to think by yourself, let the mind, let whatever happens, you are not going to think, but you are just going to be observer, because a soul is an observer, and you are soul, which is just a consciousness shrunk in a form of a tiny droplet within the ocean. And so you'll be able to observe as a soul, which is just observing, and you'll see that mind is going around rambling, and will create a lot of obstructions in your meditation. So you'll realize that you have, in time, in due course, if you are able to sort of be in the middle, in the chamber, you would realize that you do not know where your hands and feet are, and you'll in fact be wondering whether you have placed your hands in particular way or not, and sometimes you may not even remember where you are, which room. Let's say if you try to recollect that, okay, this is normally the place you sit in meditation, but if you keep varying the place you sit in, you would forget which room you are sitting in, and so you will lose total awareness of your surrounding, and even the not only temporal location, but in terms of time also, you'd sort of forget where you are. And so that's, you can, with that, you'll get a clue that, okay, you are not this body, you are more than this body. Maybe you'll experience certain things that will reveal something unique about yourself. And what Master Ishaji used to say is, when you are there at the middle of the head for a long time, and you have forgotten about your physical body, then astral, you'll be able to fly around, because that place, that the head that you are sitting in the middle of it, will expand, and it can expand to whatever size you want, and you can fly around. And so you'll be able to discover who you are, because you are still conscious, you have the awareness, you know what is going on. Now you don't remember what your body looked like, or where your body is. You may not remember your identity at that moment. So you'll be able to tap into other things which are more part of you. So you'll be able to discover another world, which is called astral world, and where using the sense perceptions that are directly embedded in your physical body, or work alongside your physical body, will become the new world. So you'll be able to taste food, you'll be able to fly around. It'll just be like another world. That will seem more vivid, more real than the world that we are accustomed to in our daily life. And if you go even one level above that, you'll be able to see your mental world, where all the ideas and concepts are created, and you'll be able to have understanding of everything in one go. That is another world again. But masters have said that a lot of people have been to the been to all three worlds. They have experienced through their effort, but going beyond all these three, uh, it's very difficult, because using mental processes, mental effort, you can go and discover your mind. But to go beyond that, you need true love and unconditional love. And unfortunately, we ourselves cannot fall in love, uh, and love is needed to go beyond the mind. So the third world that I talked about, where there's this mental realm where space and time is created, and so to go beyond that, you need a pull of a love, and we ourselves are incapable of generating that love, and so that love has to come from somebody who is beyond the mind, and we have been fortunate enough to get a glimpse of what that love looks like in form of Ishaji. A lot of us experienced what that unconditional love looked like. So you need a master, you need a perfect living master in your life, and if you have company of that, you don't have to. He used to say that your job is done. If through your seeking you have been blessed by the Creator to have a company of your perfect living master, then your job is done. Because if you can leave everything to Him, He will take care of you. If He initiates you, that means He gives you a promise that He is going to take care of you. So maybe this is your last life. And the meditation is in the time being to entertain the mind, because mind puts up resistance. So we have to keep feeding it. It can discover different world, and these worlds are very interesting based on what Ishaji used to say. So these are the teachings of my master Ishaji, whose unfortunately picture you cannot see right now. I hope these teachings that I have reminded you of is going to help in continuing meditation for all of us. We are all disciples, we are all walking on the same path, and so we constantly need this reminder of how to get away from this mental realm of Kaal Chakra. Kaal Chakra is nothing but Kaal means time and Chakra means a wheel. So we are stuck in a wheel of 84 lakhs or 8.4 million life forms that we see. Because of the karma, the way the law of karma actually works, we are constantly taking birth. We are going through death and birth cycle over and over again. Even the highest of the masters come, take birth, they do their duty, they fulfill the obligations of karma, and then they go back. Towards the end, I would like to narrate this story about karma, where there was in Ramayana, you might have heard of King Ram, and who's known as Avatar, and he's a realized master. And once upon a time, so there's a little narration of story of Ramayana. His wife is kidnapped, and so to fight with the kidnapper, he needs to amass an army that can fight on his behalf. So there was this monkey king called Bali, and Bali apparently had gotten a lot of boons by his a lot of efforts, a lot of meditation, and gods have been pleased at him, and so he had been given a boon that whenever he fights with his opponent, he is going to immediately get half of the opponent's strength. So by default, he was always a winner in any of the fight that happened. So he used to fight with his brother Sugriv, and so once upon a time, Ram wanted to take help of this King Sugriv, this monkey king Sugriv. And so Sugriv told him that, okay, you need to help me beat Bali. And if you do that, then I'm going to participate in your cause, which is fight against Ravan, who had abducted Sita, which was Rama's wife. And so he was going to, Sugriv promised that he's going to help fight. And so there was so the fight between Sugriv and Bali was arranged. And so as the fight was going on, Ram from behind a tree, he shot an arrow at Bali. And Bali died. And as he was dying, he told Rama that, hey Rama, I did not do any harm to you. Why did you shoot me? You'll have to pay for this karma that you have generated. And so you'll have to take a birth again to pay off that karma. So Rama dies, the chapter gets over, and during Mahabharata time, he is born as Krishna. Rama is, it is said to be avatar of Krishna, Krishna who is born as the same avatar who was born as Rama. And so after the Mahabharata gets over, the war of Mahabharata gets over, and Lord Krishna, he's resting in the jungle, and as he's lying down, and there is a guy who is born apparently as Bali, who was the same soul, is born as a Bhil tribe, so a sort of an uneducated person who sees Lord Krishna, who is lying in the jungle, but he doesn't recognize that somebody is actually lying down on the floor, and so Lord Krishna's feet had souls had lotus sign in them, because he was a realized soul. And so this Bhil, from distance, he looks at somebody, not somebody, but he looks at the lotus signs, and to him it appears as if there is a deer on the ground, and maybe it was sitting on the ground. So Bhil mistakes him as a deer and shoots an arrow, and that hits Krishna's feet, and that's how Lord Krishna is supposed to have died. So this shows that the effect of karma is very strong, and nobody can deny it, and even the realized masters don't deny it, because they are part of this creation as well, and so they participate in it. And so what we have to do in this life, we have to do. If there is any karma that we need to pay, so if we are going through some negative situation, just thank Master that he's helping us take care of those karmic events. And as I said, Ravidas, Kabir, and so many other masters have lived in difficult situations, and yet talked about how to go back. And they did not leave their daily life. They did not give up their living and run to Himalaya or other place, because they believed that in the midst of living in this world, we can pay off our karma and then meet a perfect living master who can help us, take us back. So I hope with this has been helpful to you. I would like to thank people who have been writing to me, and I've been a little slow in responding because I've been caught up in a little bit of other work. So hopefully I'll be able to attend to all the mails. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.